Hello, bread baking friends. Chef Huckle is out a very urgent sandbox baking project, so he can't join us today. But that's okay, because we just have a real quick check-in, and we're going to start the process a little bit today. We're going to get a little closer to bread. So, over the weekend, you may have noticed, see if I can get a good non-sunny spot, that feeding your starter every 8 hours has made a really big difference in the activity. You got a lot of bubbles in there today, so we're ready to start getting closer to baking. So what we're going to do is we're going to take everything that's in here and dump it into a bowl. And then we're going to take 1/4 of a cup of room temperature water, and we're going to add it in. And then swirl the starter into the water to kind of dissolve it, so that when it mixes with some dry flour, it mixes together really well. So you can kind of see, get a not sunny spot here. It's just kind of all mixed up together. Nothing pretty. All right, and so then we're going to take that same 1/4 of a cup and just add 1/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour. Nothing exciting, just whatever you have. And then mix it all together until you get that kind of paste, pancake batter kind of consistency. And then make sure to cover this. And in 4 hours, we're going to come back. Let's see if I can get a good shot for you here. Here, I'll move it in just a second. And so then in about 4 hours, we'll come back and we'll begin mixing up the dough. All right, friends, good luck. So then hopefully this is what your mix is beginning to look like. All right, good luck today. We'll check in again a little bit in about 4 hours, so you can see what the mixed dough looks like. All right. Hello, friends. Your local bread bakers are back in action again. You're joined today by Chef Rudolph and Chef Santa, who have been having a really good Christmas in April game today, but we're going to take a little break so we can show you what to do with your starter. You'll remember about 4 hours ago, you set your starter. So in other words, you added all of the starter you've been working on to 1/4 cup of water and 1/4 cup of flour. All right, so now we're going to mix the dough. And so to do that, we're going to add more flour and more water to our flour water mixture that's already starting to rise. Yeah. So here we go. So we're going to start by adding 1.5 cups of water, or if you've got a scale, 350 grams. All right, and actually Chef is going to do that. All right, you going to help me? Let's pour it in. All right, so then when you've got that mixed in, we're just going to stir it in with the starter that's already there. It'll kind of help get it off the bottom of the bowl. All right. And then we're going to add 500 grams of flour, or in this case, if you're using cups, about 3 cups of flour. And then to top it off, about 10 grams, or in this case, 1 big heaping teaspoon, or something like that. All right, and then we're going to smoosh our hands around in it to mix the dough. Do you want to help me mix it or not? No, you're too cold. All right, well, we'll get this all mixed up. We'll attach a picture here, and you'll be able to see exactly what your dough should look like. All right, once you get this, it's gonna rest for a while. So again, cover it, put it back where it needs to go, and you go from there. All right, friends, so here's what the dough mixed up looks like. It's a little shaggy. What you're gonna do is let it sit for about an hour. We'll come back and work with it a little bit more after that. But for now, you can just cover it and let it sit and rest. The water is going to soak into the flour a little bit more, and it will get ready to be worked with. Hey friends, how are you? So our dough has been resting overnight. So we're just going to come back and check on it. And it looks pretty good. So we're starting to see some bubbles in there. We've got some liquidy wet stuff that looks very much like it could be bread dough. So we're going to flour a work surface that you're going to work on, countertop, cutting board, whatever it is. And then we're going to slowly help our little blob of dough out and touch it just as gently as possible to keep the air bubbles in there. Don't want it to pull too much. Just get it right out there onto the board. All right. Put that out of the way. And either with some floured hands or some watered hands, you're just gonna, well, let's see. This dough is sticky today, so I'm gonna use my trusty bench knife. Just kind of fold it over on itself. All right, to help give it some shape. It's a little wet today. All right, so wet and sticky today. All right. So I'm going to take a little bit of flour and just sprinkle it over the top. Try not to do a whole lot, but just a little bit, just to kind of help it get to a point where it is ready. All right, friends. So once you kind of get a ball of dough, we're just gonna let it kind of rest for a little bit, maybe 5-10 minutes. Then we'll be back and I'll show you what to do next. Okay? Okay, friends, our dough ball has had a chance to rest, and we've had a chance to reset the camera so you can see it maybe a little bit more closely. I'll show you what we're gonna do. So we're gonna give it a little bit more shape just one more time, and then we're gonna pop it in a basket, or if you've got a floured towel, you can use that to kind of help support it one last time while it gets a little bit more shape. All right, so we've got our dough ball. We're gonna just do our best to kind of pull the front quarter up, fold it over. Grab the other quarter, pull it over. Grab the bottom quarter, pull it up, kind of fold it over the top. And come from this last side. All right, like so. If you've got a floured towel, you will put the top down like that. Then fold the towel over it just to kind of help support it. Tuck it in a little bit around, just to let it get some shape. All right, if you have a proofing basket, all right, you would take your dough ball in the proofing basket. And after you've given it those last good folds, scoop it up. Drop it in the basket. You can see he's there ready to rest. All right, and then you put a towel over the top. So we're going to let it rest for about a half an hour or 40 minutes. When we come back, I'll show you what to do so you know it's ready. All right, your oven right now is preheating to 475. If you've got a Dutch oven or a heavy lidded pan where the lid stays on, that should be in there too. All right, heating up with the oven. If you don't have those, a pizza stone works well. Otherwise, you should be in good shape. All right, friends, we'll see you again here in just a few minutes. Okay, friends, so our dough has been proofing for about 45 minutes. And so now we're going to do what's called the finger test to see if it is all proofed and ready to go in the oven. So you're going to uncover it, however it is that you covered it, and you're going to take a floured finger and just poke it and just see if it springs back. All right, you can see the indentation in mine did not spring back, so or only did partially. So it is ready to go in the oven. Okay, friends, so I'm going to drop the bread that's proofed into the basket. I'm going to dump it into one hand and then flip it into the pan. Maybe a little messy, sometimes I mess it up, but we'll just see what happens, okay? And just remember your pan is going to be really hot. So here we go. All right, and so now we're going to set a timer for 30 minutes. And the bread will bake with the lid of the pan on for 30 minutes, and then after 30 minutes, we'll take the lid off and let it bake for another 20. All right, we'll see you in 55 minutes. Hello, friends. So we're about 50 minutes later. Our loaf has come out of the oven. You can see that it is golden brown and doing really well. It's really hot, so of course you're going to be careful with it. I'm going to stick it just right over here behind me and let it cool. If you can't wait 20 minutes or so, that ought to be enough to help it cool off, and then you can start to kind of slice into it and enjoy it. Really, it'll be at its best. Well, it'll be at its best for about 7 days. Every day will be different. Some bakers recommend that you let it cure overnight before you slice it for the first time. We've never been able to do that in this house. So anyways, if you can wait 20 minutes, go ahead. Otherwise, you risk burning yourself. But either way, enjoy the bread or save it for Monday, Thursday, if that's why you baked it. Anyways, good job.